everyone. Today we are talking about law governing lease agreement in India. You should know about. There are different laws regarding lease agreement, and everyone needs to know about the terms and services. It is always important to get legal help. The lease agreement is a contract between two parties in India. Two parties are the landlord and the tenant. The purpose of a lease agreement is to decide who will be responsible for paying the rent, repairs, and other charges associated with the property. Lease agreement can be written or oral. Oral agreement are usually made between landlord and tenant. Written lease must be in writing and signed by both parties. How do rental agreement and lease agreement difference in India? A lease agreement defines the rights and responsibility between a landlord and tenant. Still, it does not limit the length of time for which it will be valid. On the other hand, a rental agreement defines when rent will be paid along with other terms related to the renting process such as deposit, fees, and taxes. Lease agreement. A lease agreement is a contract allowing one party, the lessor, to take possession of the property owned by another, the lessee. The lessor has an option to buy the property from the lessee at an agreed upon price at some point in time during the lease terms. Rental agreement. In contract, rental agreement are contracts between an owner and a tenant who wishes to live in their house. Their duration usually depends on the situation. For example, if you want to rent out your home while you are away on vacation, it will be considered a short-term rental agreement because you will only be renting it for a few months. However, if you want to rent out your home full time every month, it will be considered a long term rental agreement because it will last for an extended period. What should rental and lease documents specify? A bare bones look at simple lease agreement. This is a simple agreement for a lease. It covers all the essential points such as rent and security deposit and should be used as a guide for your agreement. A lease document should include rent payment information, uh, tenant's responsibility and obligation, landlord responsibility and obligation. The detail of rental agreement should specify. A rental agreement document should specify the following under the common laws govern lease agreement: the property owner's name and the tenants as well as their contract information include an address and phone number, a full description of the property and its legal boundaries, the term of rental agreement month to month or for a set period, the rent amount which may be expressed as an annual amount or per day or per week, a list of everyday expenses that must be paid by both parties such as utility and insurance, so the space for tenants to list any special request they have for their rental units, information about any pets allowed in units and whether tenants can keep them on their property or it if they must stay with the landlord consent only. That's not where it ends. Of course, landlord will have different condition our tenant must agree to before moving in. Depending on the property, you should ex- expect to see other point like parking lots, safety feature, and even allow timing for guests.